Hi everybody, I'm Adam Bachman, and I'm here today with my lovely oldest daughter, Hadley.
Hi.
And today, we're going to talk about planting what?
Pizza and salsa gardens.
Yep, so we're going to talk about planting an Italian herb garden, also known as a pizza garden, and a salsa garden.
Yep.
So we're going to start with our pizza garden. Let's start there, huh?
Yeah.
What's the first thing people are going to need, Hadley?
We need soil.
We need soil. What are you going to put the soil in?
We're going to put it in a big planter.
A planter, yes. So, one of the great things about gardening is if you don't have the space in your yard or you live in a condo, you can garden in a container just like this. All you need is a container about 12 to 14 inches in diameter, and you can fit 6 plants in there. 6 plants. So, container like this, 12 to 14 inches. We've filled it with a combination of potting soil and compost. So the potting soil is nice and light and will do great things for moisture retention, and then the compost is going to add organic nutrients and food for the plants.
Food, yeah.
Like food, right. What do plants need?
Sunshine. They need water. They need food, and they need love.
Oh, good job. That's awesome, Hads. Okay, so we have our container. We have it filled with soil here. You want to leave yourself, maybe 2 inches at the top.
Yeah.
You don't want to fill it
like
all
when
the way
you
to
see
the
this
top.
line, then you stop.
That's good advice. So let's start here. I'm going to move some plants over by you, Hadley.
Okay, so it was
What should we start with? Let's maybe start with this one. What is that? Do you know?
It's a tomato.
It's a tomato.
But it's this kind.
So that's a Roma tomato, which would be
Roma.
perfect for our pizza garden. Let's hang on to this tag. We'll put it next to the plant so we can remember what we're planting. So when you get these out of the containers, what Hadley's doing here, she's going to squeeze it gently. Let's squeeze gently, okay? And then instead of pulling the plant out, you can kind of squeeze and almost dump it out right into your hand. There you
Yeah,
go.
look at those beautiful roots.
Look at those roots. Okay, so now what we're going to do, Hadley has the plant in hand. I'm just going to dig a little hole here in the soil. And when you plant these, you want to plant them at the same depth that they're planted in these plastic pots. So we'll get that in the center. And then we're just going to nudge the soil.
You should make sure that there's no leaves in the soil, or else the tomatoes might grow in the soil.
Yeah, that's good advice too. So when you're planting, make sure none of the leaves are planted underneath the soil. And then once you have it planted and positioned, you just kind of pack it down gently. Even it out, make sure it's nice and straight. And then again, to remember what it is that you've planted, what do you do with this?
You should put the tag right in front of it.
Yep, we'll put the tag there so we know what we've planted.
Sometimes you can use gloves, but you can use your bare hands if you want to.
Yeah, I really like to use my bare hands. It's kind of nice to dig in the soil. You can really smell it.
And you can dig in the soil with a shovel too.
A trowel would be good.
Yeah.
All right, so we have the empty plastic pot. Make sure you recycle those when you're done using them.
And if there's still a little bit more soil in the pot, you can squeeze that out into your hand, and then you can put it back into that big planter.
We'll use it all. Okay, let's get on to the next one here. What's this? Do you remember what this is? Give it a smell.
That is basil.
That smells delicious. Basil, this is one of our favorites at home.
Yes.
So we'll squeeze this gently and dump it out. You want to take the tag, Hadley?
Yep, I'll take the tag.
All
the
right.
tag was
It's a little bit different tag. It's all right. Just tells you the variety. So we'll put our basil here. We're going to kind of work around the center plant. So we've linked information to our plant by number, and you'll see that there for a 12 to 14 inch container. Again, fitting about 6 plants into that space. You can follow along if you'd like. Makes it very easy. We really like those paint by numbers at home.
Yep.
So it's that same concept here. Got our basil in. We've got our tag next to it. What should we do next?
Now let's do...
Why don't you smell something else? See if you can figure out what it is.
I bet this is...
What's that? Oh, that's rosemary.
Yes.
Rosemary.
I love rosemary.
I really like rosemary too.
Yeah, our
Wonderfully
family
fragrant.
really likes rosemary.
One of the nice things about rosemary too
like if you rub your hand on the plant, then
show
it
them.
smells.
So you can gently kind of rub your hand on the leaves and you get that wonderful rosemary fragrance on your hands. All right, so let's work our way. We'll go clockwise around here, huh? We'll go right next to the basil.
Ah,
Okay, we'll dig a little hole here.
perfect.
Bingo.
I don't know if you can see that.
Well, we'll turn it here
We'll
so that they
turn it.
can see it, right?
Yep.
Why don't you get the tag in next to it?
Here we go. It's a perfect cute tag.
Perfect. Okay, so here's how we're looking so far. We have our tomato in the center. That's going to be the tallest plant. That's one of the main reasons we chose to put it in the center. And then we've got our basil here. Hadley continues to add the soil, and rosemary. So we've got 3 plants in here so far. We have room for 3 more. So
3 more.
let's keep
Probably
planting. What do you want to do
one-
next?
This one.
We've never planted that one before.
Yeah, this one has kind of a funny name.
What does it smell like? You pick anything up?
No.
Yeah, this is called marjoram. We've never used this at home, but
Nope.
sure to add a new flavor profile to your pizza, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you want to help me dig the hole on this one?
I'm gonna get the dirt.
Oh, you're going to keep cleaning up. All right. It's nice to have a helper cleaning up after you go as you garden. So you're sure to spill some soil, right?
I'm sure to spill some soil.
All
I'm
right.
sure you probably stack these cups up so then you can recycle them.
You can recycle them very easily. Okay, what's this one? Do you remember this one? What does that smell like?
Smells like parsley.
You can smell parsley? That's awesome. So, this is parsley. Oftentimes, parsley is just used as a garnish on food. That means they just will tear off a little sprig or a leaf and dress up the food a little bit. It's also edible.
People can eat it if they want, and if you want to eat it, you don't have to.
Okay, you got a little squeeze and dump. Whoop. There we go.
Oh, wow.
You always like the roots, don't you? It's fun to see how the different plants have different root systems. Some you can really see them like this, and others maybe not so much.
Yep.
What do the roots do for the plant?
They help. So when you put your plant in there, then when you water it, that soaks up the soil. So then the plant can drink it.
It's kind of how the plants eat and drink, right?
Yeah. It's fun to get your hands dirty when you garden.
I love that. Okay, do you have the tag? We'll put that in there.
Good, pretty good.
So that's our marjoram, and
Oh,
then
wow.
what's our last one? Do you remember?
Last one. Oregano.
Oregano. Good
That's
job.
kind of a hard word.
Oregano, yep. So another
Oh.
very popular item for pizzas
Is oregano.
and cooking in general. You gonna get that one out okay? Yep, when you do this, you want to be gentle. There you
You're
go.
really gentle with the plant.
All right.
It's like plants are kind of like people. They need food, love, and you need to be careful with it.
That's right. Treat it with care, right?
Yep.
So, Hads, if somebody wanted to get these supplies, where should they go?
Well, wait, what?
If you wanted to go buy these plants, where would you tell somebody to go buy herbs like this so that they could
Bachman's.
plant their own Italian garden?
Bachman's.
That's right. So all of these supplies would be available at Bachman's in our stores. Also available online, right? You could purchase online for non-contact curbside pickup or non-contact delivery. So all sorts of great options to be able to get your gardening supplies. Now a reminder too, we're still early on in the spring season here. So our average last frost is May 10th. So if you're planting now, even more of a reason to be able to do it in a container so you can easily pick this up, bring it inside if you need to protect it from cooler temperatures.
You can move it to place to place. And when should you plant these plants?
Well, if you want to do it now, you can. You just have to watch the weather and make sure that it's not going to freeze, because otherwise these plants won't survive.
It's kind of, well, yeah, like you bring it in when it's like winter, if you're planting it in winter, and you bring it in when and then you bring it out when it's spring.
That's right. So because it's early spring now and Minnesota's still kind of making up its mind what it's going to do with weather, your safest bet is to wait until May 10th to plant outside, but if you can do it in a container and easily bring it out, it's a great option as well. So here's our finished pizza garden, Italian garden, very nicely done. What's the last thing you're going to do, quick Hads, on this one? What are you going to do?
Water it.
You're going to water it in. So you don't need to use a ton of water on this first one. The soil that we used is already a little bit moist, so we're just going to water in around the base of the plants. And Hadley, you're doing a really good job watering. When you water, you want to water the soil. You don't want to be watering the tops of the plants.
Because if you water the tops of the plants, it'll start dripping down, and the leaves will look like this. And they're not supposed to look like that. They're supposed to be happy.
And I'd say this is a pretty happy looking Italian garden, right? What should we do next? What do you love to snack on at home?
Salsa.
Salsa. Holy moly.
Salsa.
All right, salsa. Here we go. So again, we've got another fiber mache pot. I don't think I mentioned this on the Italian garden, but these mache pots are great. They're lightweight, they're reusable, and if you have a decorative container on a patio or a deck or a front step, these are very easy and sized right, so you can just drop them right into your decorative containers.
And maybe when you pour your soil in, you could probably crunch up the big pieces in the soil.
That's a great idea. So when you're filling your container with soil, if there are any big chunks of soil, you want to break those up so it's nice and loose. Yep, so you'll kind of work it in, get your hands in there. Very good.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
We have a question from Abby, and she's wondering how big the tomato will get in the pot.
Very good question. So Abby's asking how big the tomato will get in the pot. So there's a lot of different varieties of tomatoes, and all of the dimensions will be indicated on the grow tag to tell you how tall or how round a tomato plant might get. This Roma tomato, I'm going to have to look at the tag to see how tall this one gets. This size, it just gives the fruit size of 2 ounces on here. So tomato plants can get quite tall, and so one of the things you might want to do is stake a tomato, and you could still do that in this container. You can use a bamboo rod. Some people will use driveway markers that they put out in the wintertime. And what you'll do is you'll insert that all the way down to the base of the container, and then you can use a soft twist tie. Some people will use twine. You don't want to use anything that would be abrasive against the tomato plant.
Yeah.
And then you can attach the plant to the stake as it continues to grow. So depending on the variety of the tomato, I would say anywhere about 3 feet tall, you think? I mean, it will get quite tall. If you have a smaller cherry tomato or grape tomato, those will stay a little bit smaller. So there are more compact varieties to look for if you're wanting to keep something small. So good question, Abby.
But if you have like a big garden, to hold it up, you could probably use like a teepee or something. Yeah.
There's all sorts of plant supports.
Yep.
Okay, so we're on to our pizza garden, right? What are we going to do first?
It's not our pizza garden.
Oh, sorry. I'm wrong.
Salsa garden.
This is our salsa garden. Thank goodness you're here. Holy moly. Okay, so this is our salsa garden. What are we going to put in first, just like we did on the pizza garden? The tomato. So you can see here, this is a larger tomato than we used on the pizza garden. So you can get plants that are even more established if you want to get a real jump to your growing season. So same thing, we're going to squeeze this gently. That's part of the soil mixture here. Oh, sorry.
You scare me there. Oh.
Okay.
Where the plant broke up.
Holy moly. All right, so here we go. This one's nice and big. We're going to actually scoop some of this soil out here.
Holy moly.
All right, kiddo.
Holy moly.
We got to get it a little bit deeper still. Okay.
Oh, my.
Oh, that's perfect right there.
Okay, so let's get all the leaves out of the way.
Yep, all the leaves out of the way.
And remember, make sure you don't have any leaves planted.
Keep the leaves out of the soil. We're going to kind
Now,
of
this
press
is a
it
big
down a little bit.
plant.
This one is a big plant. And you know what I'm noticing here on these larger plants? There's already a stake attached to it, just sort of as a starting guide, so that tomato gets off to a nice, strong and straight start. So we've got that tomato in the middle. We're putting our excess soil in here. We maybe filled this one a little bit too full, but that's okay. We'll put the excess in another container. And again, we've got the plant by numbers linked for you, so you can check those out for different ideas and instructions on how to plant a container garden. So we have our tomato. What's next? What are you going to pick?
One of these?
Yeah,
I want to go for this one.
what is that? Do you know?
Pepper. It's a pepper.
It's a pepper, yep.
Yeah,
Do you know what kind of pepper? Spicy or sweet?
I think it's spicy.
Spicy, you're right. So this is a jalapeno pepper.
Pepper.
So very popular ingredient in salsas.
Read it.
There you go. Hadley dug a nice spot for this jalapeno
I
pepper.
did not dig that.
We're going to
Okay.
put the soil back around here.
There's a lot of soil.
And again, when you're planting these, you want to plant them at the same depth they were planted in the container. Nicely done, Hadley.
Sometimes I like to dig part of the hole and then put in the container, and then it'll make like a big hole that your container was before.
So here's another, this is one of our favorites at home. Do you remember what that's called? Can you smell it?
No, not anymore.
So, this is cilantro.
Oh, cilantro.
Oh, it's so good. Now, cilantro, I think, is one of those herbs that some people really, really like, and some people, like your grandma, like your Gibi, she does not like cilantro.
Me, I don't like cilantro.
You do too.
I do?
Yeah, it's in the salsa that you like.
Oh.
Okay, so we have our cilantro here. Very nice, healthy looking plant. Pressing down firmly the soil around it, get it nice and straight and in place. You want to put
You can do these tiny gardens at home.
That's right. This is a great activity to do at home with your kids, by yourself, whatever you want to do. It's a great way to calm down and kind of connect, right? You can.
Even if it's sunny day, you definitely should make one of these outside.
That's right. The weather is getting nice. There's sun in the
You
forecast.
can wear shorts.
This one's looking really good, I'd say, so far. We've got our tomato in the middle, our cilantro, and our jalapeno pepper. All right, should we keep going? What are these?
I think
Remember what those are?
onion.
Those are onions. So now the onions are a little bit different. Let's see if we can move this over here. Maybe a little bit trickier, but still something that anybody could do, right? So we're gonna
Yep.
squeeze this, loosen it
One
up a
of our
little bit.
favorites to plant at home.
It is. And Mom is really good at doing these.
Oh, yes, it is.
Okay. So we've got your onions here. And you're going to see this is going to kind of break apart. And when you plant these at first, they might be sitting down a little bit. They might look a little floppy. Rest assured, as the roots get established in the container, they're going to pick back up.
Sometimes when you get this, sometimes when you get onions, the compost will come with it.
So what we're going to do here, and we may not plant all of these in this container, we'll see. But as we're breaking this up, you can see all of the roots here. So what you want to do with the onions is kind of mound them, because they're going to grow. Do the onions grow above the soil or beneath the soil?
Beneath.
Beneath the soil, right?
So sometimes if one of your onions fall off, you can just take that off.
Yep. So what we're going to do is here we're going to separate some of these. And I'm going to go right in front. And here, again, planting at the same depth that they're in the container, and you can see those healthy roots hanging down there.
It's hard to do that, but
And
do all
then
you can.
you're going to set them in there. And you really want to kind of mound the soil up as much as you can around it. Give that onion plenty of space to grow underneath the soil. That's standing up really nicely, actually. Look at that. Let's do a couple more of
This
these.
is what the onion looks like when it's
Just
tiny and it falls out.
So we'll
Tiny
do,
little roots under it.
let's do a couple more right in front here. Get those roots all beneath the soil.
You can ask for help if you need some help.
Always a good idea to ask for help.
Yep.
What do you think? Oh, you've got another one here?
I think we should.
You want to get rid of that?
I'm gonna plant it.
Plant it.
Yeah.
Help me out.
Let's plant it.
Here, let's get it right next to these others, okay?
Hello.
Nicely
Pretty good.
done.
Nicely
Look at the
done.
roots on this one. So we'll do this again. We're going to kind of mound this up as best we can. And with the onions too, you also want to give them some space between each other so those onions have room to grow.
These roots are really
Yep, get all those
beautiful.
roots in there.
The roots are really beautiful. Takes a lot of time to get those roots in there.
Great
Beautiful
job.
roots. Let's get one more in there.
Should we keep going? We've got space. Let's keep going on these.
Space. Pretty onions.
Can you... They already smell like onions.
Yes.
Did you smell that?
Yes. Yes.
That's crazy.
Ooh, this is a nice one. Remember, onions grow under the ground.
Do you know any other vegetables that grow under the ground?
Carrots.
Carrots. Anything else?
Potatoes?
Potatoes, yeah.
Hard. That's a hard one.
What do you got?
I got this. I gotta get all you roots.
Yep, get those roots underneath the soil. And they'll find their way back down. If some are hanging out, that's okay.
Sometimes when you get onions, there might be little clumps of dirt on it.
There you go.
Just pull those off.
Let's do the last one right in
The
here.
last one. If you have a little bit left, it's okay. You can use that for your next garden. If you can make two. That seems well. It's very nice.
Oh, this
Look at
is
these
looking
beautiful roots.
really, really good.
There you go.
So, yep,
So
we can
here's
leave
the
those.
onion tag.
We'll plant those in another container. You can put that in there.
Right here.
All right, let's show them. This one's looking really
Yeah, it's looking pretty good.
good. Do you remember what we planted in here? Can you tell them everything that's in here?
Let's see. Tomatoes.
Tomato, where's the tomato? Can you
Right
point
here.
to it? Yep, right in the middle.
Onions.
Onions, yep, that we did.
I think we planted parsley.
This one looks like parsley, but it's cilantro. Cilantro.
Yeah, that's a hard one to guess.
Yep. And then the last one, spicy.
Ooh, spicy pepper. Spicy pepper.
Spicy pepper, which is a jalapeno in this case. And with the peppers, there's a lot of different varieties. It's one of my favorite things to grow. You can get spicy peppers, you can get sweet peppers. It's a really versatile food and one of the plants we're more successful with, right?
Yeah. Our favorite at home is the banana pepper. We like to plant the banana peppers.
Yep, we always do the sweet banana peppers.
But not this year. We didn't plant the sweet banana peppers this year.
We didn't do it this year. So, again, great activity for the family. Great activity if you're trying to get the kids outside and break up the monotony maybe a little bit. Gardening is a great choice. And also, with all the distance learning going on, a good way to kind of bring the classroom to the children again and remind them about where food comes from. Remind them that hard work is of great value, right?
Yep.
You got to work hard.
Hard work
What's
is
the-
great value.
Should we water this in a little bit?
Yep. I want to water it.
And again, Bachman's is open. We've got lots of great vegetables and herbs for you guys to get your gardens growing. You can shop online for non-contact curbside and also non-contact delivery. So hope to see you soon. We've got all sorts of family in the stores and other great employees that are more than willing to help you out.